Hi, everybody. Welcome. How are you? Hope you're having a wonderful night. So, Chantal released a new video called So I Spent 12 Hours in Observation for Hyperglycemia. Hope I said that right. So, this whole video is about her going to the ER. Now, I don't know if she really went to the ER. This could be possibly a fake ER visit because she talked about being in the ER, but considering the things that she was saying, the math just ain't mathin'. Allegedly, she went for very, very high blood sugar, but she wasn't admitted immediately. And according to her, her blood sugar levels were dangerously, dangerously high. Now, those of you that have been watching Chantal with me, that should come to no surprise. I mean, we saw her running around Ottawa. She went to the dollar store. She got an entire bag of snacks. And then she ran off and she went to the Chinese buffet. And there's no telling how much she was eating there, plus whatever drink she might have been consuming in between then. So if Chantal really, in fact, had to go to the ER, would it really surprise anybody? No. I would also like to give credit to another channel, Skinny Queen, and I was just watching her chat a few moments ago, and a few interesting things were said in the chat about Natter. So I mentioned before that I thought it was interesting that Chantal was coming back to Canada, and isn't it funny? Isn't it interesting how right about the same time that Chantal is coming back to Canada, that's when Natter really started to go in on the different reactors, including FFG. The timing of that he really didn't start to go in on FFG until her return. Now here's something else to add to that. So according to what I heard in Skinny Queen's chat, Natter just got $500 of new groceries. Not only that, but he was walking around with some edibles. Who do we know that also likes edibles? So what do you think of that, Salah? What do you think about her spending her money on you, but also on somebody else? How do you feel about her spending $500 on her former sugar baby and keeping him happy at the same time that she's having you act all the way the fool doing reaction videos? Yeah, just give that a thought, Salah. So does it surprise me if Chantal is giving money to Natter and giving money to Salah? No, not at all. I mean, because we all know that Natter was her one true love, and Natter was the one that actually touched her versus Salah. So supporting both men? Probably. Anyway, I wanted to go to Twitter and show what everybody on Twitter is saying about Chantal and her ER visit, as well as go over the video itself with all of you here with me. So how about we just bounce on over to Twitter and see what people have to say. It won't take long. All right, let me just make sure I am where I say I am. Okay, there we go. I'm going to go back over to Twitter. For those of you that are on Twitter that want to join me on Twitter, it's Wild Girl Sarah. And I encourage all of you to join me there because sometimes YouTube, they drop the ball with notifications about live chats or videos. I don't know why that is, but they just do. But whenever I do a new video or I do live chat, I post on Twitter first. So if YouTube does drop the ball and you are on Twitter, you can find out there for sure. So Hidden Truth says, Foodie Beauty, she says her blood sugar was 414. Why didn't they put her in the hospital? Once again, they let her go. Last time she was in Kuwait at 360 blood sugar levels and sent home. How is she still walking and not in the same kind of diabetic coma? How truthful is this? Well, one thing we know about Chantal lies. That is a constant. That is something that will never change. Chantal lies. But let's watch the clip courtesy of Hidden Truths.
For like 12 hours. So here's what happened. So yesterday I had a eye doctor appointment. So I went to the eye doctor appointment, and then, as I was pulling into the driveway, I felt dizzy, and I noticed I was a lot more dizzy, and like my vision was more blurry than usual. And then during the exam, they had to put these contrast eye drops in to see behind my eyes, and it made my vision even more blurry. So I had to wait in my car to even drive.
Okay, so they basically dilated her, is there pupils? At that point, you are not safe to drive, ma'am. When they dilate your pupils, you really need someone to drive for you. It's not safe for you to be on the road and driving and be behind the wheel of a car moving. This driving with dilated pupils is just flat out dangerous and reckless.
And I noticed that the vision went away enough that I could drive. So I thought, I'm going to go to the hospital and I'm going to get checked out, because you hear horror stories about diabetes, ketoacidosis, hyperglycemia, going into diabetic coma. So I decided to...
Chantal, you hear all these horror stories, but does it really make an impact on you? No. You hear the horror stories, and yet despite all the stories you hear from different people, all the different warnings from different people, what do? You run off to a Chinese buffet and have multiple plates of food and possibly desserts. That's your take of hearing the horror stories, is I'm going to listen to the stories and I'm just going to ignore them. You're not scared of what might potentially happen. You don't care, and yet you expect everybody else who is not you to care. Everybody else is supposed to be concerned and worried for you, but you're not worried for you. If you were worried for you, you would do something about the problems, but you're not. So if you don't care, don't expect us to care.
Go to the emergency because the walk-in clinics were pretty full for the day, and I don't have a family doctor. There's a wait list, okay? So in Ontario. So I went to the ER, and they have all my file there already, so that's good. It didn't look too busy when I got there. Honestly, I thought it was going to be kind of in and out kind of thing. They would prescribe insulin or something. That's what I thought, and I would get...
I'm just going to give my thoughts here. Things that I'm wondering about. We all know that Chantal has BED. She's severely into that. It's consumed her. It's overtaken her. Just a thought, just a question I have in my mind. Chantal, are you just basically trying to find any way you could think of just to keep going with your BED? Do you feel that you could drive your blood sugar up to dangerous levels and then go to an ER and get some insulin to drive it back down just enough so you can go back out and eat more sugar? That is so incredibly reckless and stupid. I can't even, it's just, I can't just, you're trying to find a way to continue the reckless, dangerous behavior, knowing what path you're on and knowing where that's going to lead to. But rather than stop, you're trying to find any way in the world to continue. Girl, you need inpatient so bad. You need to be in just forced inpatient because you don't want to stop. You want to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going until you can't go anymore. I mean, Chantal did say multiple times, y'all, she did say that she would eat until she died. And what did I say about us making our own prophecies? Just let that sink in.
To go. So no, told I told them my symptoms. She pricked my finger, took my blood sugar. It was 23. I'll try to put the conversion here somewhere in mgdl, but that's mmol. And it's, that's very high. So they were surprised how high it was. So, then, she said, okay, she took all my information. She said, now we're going to have you register. So I went to register. They give you that arm bracelet. I was,
Yeah, so where's the arm bracelet? Also, people in Skinny Queens chat and also on Twitter. I wish I could find the person on Twitter to give proper credit to. But somebody, maybe it was Skinny Queens chat, they were pointing out that Chantal was wearing the same makeup in this video and shirt from like 5 days ago. And we know how she likes to purposely post things out of context and out of order just to keep everybody confused. She doesn't like for people in girl world to keep up exactly with everything she does when she does it. So there might be a chance, y'all, that this might be an older video. This may not be from like 12 hours ago. It could be something more than that.
There for many hours at that point. And then they tested, my blood sugar. It was like 13 something. They gave me another dose of insulin. And then finally, by the end of everything, by the time I got home, I left with an insulin, with a blood sugar reading of 11. Is a lot better than 23, but still high.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting, Chantal? The last time you did go to the doctor and they gave you insulin, the insulin did its job. It lowered your blood sugar. But what is the point of taking insulin if you're just going to take it and it lowers your blood sugar and then you run back out and eat more junk food? Or is that what you're using the insulin for? You're playing the odds of, I'm going to make my blood sugar spike and then I'm going to go to the ER and get a shot of insulin to drive it back down so I can turn around and do more fast food. You're insane. You are absolutely insane, ma'am. You need to be locked up. You're all about that self-harm. Okay, something not Chantal related from Why I Love Cats. This is funny. So you got the cats, like, you got the treats? Oh wait. I was just getting it for you. He got caught stealing. That is hilarious. The cat just trying to act all innocent. Okay, this is from Mr. Michael B. Petty. They told me to keep my metformin and follow up on my family doctor, which won't be happening. Hee hee. And whose fault is that, Foodie Beauty? Sat around like an engorged tick in your fart box in Kuwait, hailing anything you could go to those Mickey Mouse glove hands on and on. Again, she's not taking her medication. She's supposed to be on 3 different kinds of medication, right? She's not taking them. So you're not taking your medication. You go out to Chinese buffets and to dollar stores and get snacks, and then you go to the ER just to get a shot of insulin. If you really are going to the ER and not just faking the visit, you're basically wasting everybody's time. You don't care about your health, but you will go to the ER if you just have a B moment and you know you've had a B moment and your blood sugar gets way up there. After a B moment, you go to the ER, get the insulin, drive the blood sugar back down, lather, rinse, repeat. How many times do you think that's actually going to work, Chantal? There might be a moment where you drive it up too high and you might not make it to the hospital to get that insulin shot to bring your blood sugar back down before it does real damage. Tofu says Chantal is such an idiot. Stopped her diabetes meds, got candy bars, hit up a Chinese buffet and almost died with a blood sugar of 414. She calls everyone else stunted. Look, she doesn't care. She keeps flirting with death. She keeps blowing up the Grim Reaper's phone with text messages and voicemails. And I'll tell you what, Chantal, I heard in the rumor mill that Mrs. Grim Reaper is none too pleased with you. and she told me to send you a message. Stop texting her husband. He's busy. Leave her man alone. You keep flirting with death and batting those fake eyelashes, girl, but he don't want to talk to you. You know, I've actually figured out the secret to Chantal's immortality. Heaven don't want her, and hell's like, no, thank you. So they're deadlocked. Neither one wants her, so they're like, let's just keep her alive a little bit longer, so we don't have to decide. DX says, so basically, Chantal thought she was being smart by going to the ER and walking out with a prescription of insulin to inject herself after B moments, and she was told again that she would have to go through the waiting process to get health care like everyone else, and she's mad again. Well, who cares if she's mad? Who cares? She's mad at other people for making her wait to be waited on. But if you are really mad, Chantal, if you really hate the ER, if you hate waiting in the ER, here's a simple solution. Take care of your health. And then you won't have to go to the ER anymore. You keep having to go because you don't take care of your health. And the emergency room is for people that are really sick. And they base seeing you based on how serious the situation is. You walking up in there just wanting a shot of insulin so you can go off to the nearest Burger King or Starbucks, you are low on the ladder of importance versus somebody coming in from an ambulance that their life is on the line and they got seconds. Okay. You know, you hate the ER, do something about it. Take care of your health. Whiplash says, B moments on sugar from the dollar store and Chinese food. Drove right away after being dilated, didn't stay, didn't eat what was given to her to see how much she reacts to sugar. I'm sorry, but it literally looks like she is purposely unaliving herself or hoping to skip the wait time. I don't think she cares about her health. I really don't. I think she's so deep into her problem with food that she doesn't want to find her way out. She could find her way out, but she's not interested. And if you want to know the truth, and I know this is really morbid and I'm sorry, but for the last 5 or 6 years, Chantal has lived her life on camera. Every awkward, weird, gross, vulgar, profane moment, she's lived on camera. And she hates to be alone. She really does hate to be alone. And I hope this does not happen. But I've got a bad feeling that she wants something to happen bad on camera. Like, you know, Foodie Beauty has left the building and she wants to leave the building in front of an audience. I hope that does not happen. But it would seem that's what she's going for. I hope you don't get your wish with that, Chantal. Miss Anthropo says, when triage actually works and a super morbidly obese, entitled narcissist has to wait longer because the medical professionals know she did this to herself. Gotta love when a spoiled, rotten child gets their just desserts. Well, she did say she does have a file there at the ER, and I'm pretty sure they know who she is. Doctors and nurses talk. They might be very familiar with this woman, and they know what they're dealing with. So they know that she's just coming there to screw off and waste their time, and they're going to busy themselves with people that are really in need of care. I don't blame them. Michael B. Petty says, I saw people who had checked in after me be seen before me. Ma'am, it's an emergency room. The way Foodie Beauty thinks that she is the most important person in the world is insane. Her trash narcissism knows no bounds. Nope. Sure doesn't. Sure doesn't. And even though she's not seconds away from death, she still expects to be seen first. But why? What about those people that are coming in with heart attacks or strokes or life-threatening injuries? They got to go after you? No, you're just coming in there to get a shot of insulin so you can find the nearest fast food joint and go to town. You know, No, you're not on the list of priorities, Chantal. This is interesting, says, and once again during her ERBs, not one family member showed up. She got stuck in the elevator all by herself and had to drive herself home. She deserves everything that's coming to her. Yeah, I agree. And it's not because anybody hating on her is sending her that bad energy. It's what she's doing to herself. That's the beautiful part about her karma. If anything bad happens to Chantal, it's stuff that she has created for herself. It's nothing that anyone is doing to her. She swears up and down that there are people stalking her, that people want to hurt her. Chantal, no one can hurt you more than you're hurting yourself right now. No one in girl world or anywhere has to wish anything bad upon you. You're doing all the damage to yourself. In spades, why does anybody have to lift a finger or have a single ugly thought about you being harmed when you're over there destroying yourself with food? You are making it happen, no one else. DX says, after the ophthalmologist, she decided to go to the ER thinking she would be in and out with an insulin prescription so she didn't have to wait at the walk-in clinic. She was practically about to have a medical emergency and was admitted to the hospital. There for the 12th. Oh, I guess there's more. Hold on. Oh, is that it? Again, like I'm going to err on the side of caution here. I don't know if the ER visit was real or if she faked it for sympathy, for views, for content. I mean, how do we know she was really there? How do we know? We don't know. We can't trust her words. She's not truthful. If only she was truthful, then there would be a timeline of sorts. But there isn't. It's just Chantal talking, and you can't believe more than half the things that come out of her mouth. Chicken Pickle says, so Chantal was having a diabetic medical emergency and thought it'd be a good idea to get behind the wheel and drive herself to the ER. Yeah, because she's a reckless idiot. An absolute reckless idiot. And let's see. Looking. Okay, so that's it for everything on Twitter. Just want to show you guys what people on Twitter are saying. And let's see. Oh, before we go, like the title of her video, I was like, what is this term? Hypoglycemia. I hope I'm saying it right. So what is that? The symptoms are increased thirst and a dry mouth, needing to pee frequently, tiredness, blurred vision, unintentional weight loss. Well, she doesn't have that. Reoccurrent infections such as thrush, bladder infections, and skin infections. But basically, it's high blood sugar. Do you see a common theme here, Foodie? The high blood sugar that never goes down, ever. And where does it come from? Your constant eating. You going for the sugary stuff, the drinks, the snacks, the chocolate bars. That's where it's coming from. It's causing problems, but you don't care because you have to have your sugar. Foodie. What are we going to do with you? All right, let me just go ahead and share the screen and we'll get into the video itself because I've got so many thoughts. I'm going to share them with you guys. I want you guys to sit here with me. We can watch this together. All right. Let's get to, shall we?
Hello, foodie beauties.
No, we're not doing the Scameo. I don't even think so.
Very calm and peaceful. I love it. Well, hello guys. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be telling you about my story time of me being in the hospital yesterday. So I was in the ER for, sorry for the sun dust, for like 12 hours. So here's what happened. So yesterday I had a eye doctor appointment. So I went to the eye doctor appointment, and then, as I was pulling into the driveway, I felt dizzy, and I noticed I was a lot more dizzy, and like my vision was more blurry than usual. And then during the exam, they had to put these contrast eye drops in to see behind my eyes, and it made my vision even more blurry. So I had to wait in my car to even drive. And I noticed that the dizziness wasn't going away. The blurry vision went away enough that I could drive. So I thought, I'm gonna go to the
You know what? That would scare the crap out of me. If just out of nowhere your vision starts to get blurry and you start to feel dizzy, that would scare me. That would scare the living crap out of me. But she's just treating it like it's no big deal. None. Foodie, my money is on the fact that you are planning to go back to Kuwait. You talked briefly about getting an apartment, but there's been no further talk about that. No further discussion. You haven't told us that you're continuing to look for apartments or a studio or something like that. We could tell that you really wanted to go back to be with Salah. And I'm sure you waited on payday so you could do that, because you would need 2 seats, and that's rather expensive. You've already got 1 foot pointed towards Kuwait and 1 foot towards the airport. You have no intention of getting a place in Canada, although you do need to stay in Canada because that's where you get, I believe, the best health care. And your family could be around you if something happened. But you're so desperate to go back to him. And he is so stupid that he's not flat out telling you no. You're both idiots. If you're having these symptoms for real, and this is not just a made-up story time, you shouldn't be flying at all, because you could have a medical emergency on the plane. If you're stuck in a tube thousands of feet in the air, nobody's going to be able to help you.
The hospital, and I'm going to get checked out because you hear horror stories about diabetes, ketoacidosis, hyperglycemia, going into diabetic coma. So I decided to go to the emergency because
all the horror stories, and yet it doesn't stop her from eating. She's back in Canada indulging in everything. And we knew that was going to happen, didn't we? All of us knew. Anybody's been watching Foodie for 5 minutes knew that was going to happen. This person who is an addict, and she's got many addictions, some of which she could not indulge in Kuwait because she had no access to them. She was not recovered. She was not cured. She was dry. There's a difference with somebody who's in recovery and somebody who's just dry. Dry is when you don't have access to the things. Recovery is when you do, and you're simply saying no. You've got the coping mechanisms and the coping skills and the coping tools to say no. So in Kuwait, she was dry. She didn't have her edibles. And Salah was there to be a watchful eye on at least some of the food she was eating. Now that she's in Canada without him, surrounded by all the temptations, she's giving in to every single one of them. And now you're talking about an ER visit. And you've not even been there for a couple of weeks. And you don't see this as a problem, Foodie?
The walk-in clinics were pretty full for the day. And I don't have a family doctor. There's a wait list, okay? So in Ontario.
So why aren't you getting on a wait list? Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Why aren't you getting on a wait list? Foodie, everywhere you go, whether it's an ER, whether it's a doctor, whether it's even a clinic, there's going to be waiting involved. And you don't have little, simple, tiny problems. You got great, big problems. Every single one of your organs is in trouble. Your lungs, your heart, your kidneys, your liver. every single one is damaged and in serious trouble. Plus the diabetes, okay? On top of it all, you got diabetes, high blood sugar, high blood pressure, to the point where you needed 3 different medications. Pardon me, I'm so sorry. You know, a little simple walk-in clinic is not going to get the job done. For everything you got going on with you, it's pretty serious. You need some place that can do all the tests, have all the equipment. Clinic can't do that. A family doctor can do more, but they don't have access to all the high-tech equipment. And you go to the ER and you treat it like a walk-in clinic. Oh, you're just supposed to show up and be admitted immediately? No, it's the ER. To you, health is not important. Health is a joke. You just think that whatever you do, that it's not going to be that bad, and you're just going to be able to just bounce around, do whatever you want. I don't know what's keeping you together. I don't know what it is that one thing might be inside of you that all it's going to take is for that one little thing to break, and then everything else is going to break down, and then it's going to be too late. But you better hope that that one thing keeps going.
So I went to the ER and they have all my file there already, so that's good. It didn't look too busy when I got there. Honestly, I thought it was going to be kind of in and out kind of thing. You know, they would prescribe insulin or something. That's what I thought, and I would get to go. So no,
So basically you went to the ER for a script. You wasted everybody's time for a script for insulin. And I'm sure that your only motivation for getting the insulin was so you could go get it and use it so you can go out and have more bee moments. You are a reckless, stupid moron of a human being. I'm sorry, it's addict behavior. Someone who is not ready to let go of their addiction and be in recovery. Someone who is trying to find a way to continue the addiction, even though the addiction is out of control, it's over consuming, it's damaging. Just trying to find a way to manage things to where they can just do whatever they want. Well, guess what, Chantal? The human body is delicate. You can't do whatever you want to it. You can expect it to take every bit of punishment you can deal out to it. I don't know what it is about you and your body, but the impression that I've gotten from you is, for some reason, you hate your own body. You hate it immensely. You're always beating up on it and punishing it with food and party favors and everything else. You're giving it quite the beating. For what reasons, I don't understand. If you worked with your body and you respected your body would take care of you and you could do more. But the more you beat up on it and the more you punish it, the more it starts to fight back. And one day it may decide not to fight back anymore and say, we quit. So if that's what you want, that's what you want. But no more eating fast food past that point.
No.
My computer's acting up, sorry.
I told them my symptoms. She pricked my finger, took my blood sugar. It was 23. I'll try to put the conversion here somewhere in mgdl, but that's mmol. And
wow. Isn't that diabetic coma territory? You're stupid. You are so stupid. So incredibly stupid. What are you going to do? You know, I'm not laughing at diabetes. I'm not laughing at the damage that diabetes does. A lot of people deal with diabetes. I'm dumbfounded. Okay. I'm absolutely dumbfounded looking at somebody that they could turn their life around. Don't want to. They'd rather let the addiction just take over and consume them. It's insane.
And it's that's very high. So they were surprised how high it was. So then, you know, she said, okay, she took all my information. She said, now we're going to have you register. So I went to register. They give you that arm bracelet thing. So then ECG, I think it's ECG tech came and said, we're going to do an ECG. So they take me to this little room, like ECG. I guess they're just trying to rule everything out. They hooked me up, did the ECG. Then I had to wait in the waiting room, and I was waiting for a long time, you know, and I was just like, I saw groups of people that I know registered after me go before me.
The tone of her voice, like, I was waiting for a long time. Oh my God. Like, I just had to wait for so long. Ooh, you're annoying. You entitled, spoiled brat. It's a hospital. There are more people there than you that need the care before you do. And I'm sure everyone in that hospital cares more about their health than you care about yours. So why shouldn't they be seen first? You were just there, in your words, to get a script, right? Get some insulin, walk in, walk out, treating the ER like a walk-in clinic. You just want a prescription for something that you could take to lower your blood sugar. Although you're supposed to be on 3 different medications for everything else that's wrong with you. Are you taking those? So even if the doctor had given you the script, are you going to take it? More than likely you will. So you can go out and have more B moments to keep from what might be happening, to keep it from happening, although that may not work. But the entitled, spoiled, narcissist behavior right here. Oh, it's making me sick.
Okay. Now, a little cute French, and I'm French Canadian, so I can make fun of the accent. I'm not making fun. I'm just going to try to imitate it because, you know, makes the video more interesting. I don't know. You can laugh at me. No, but she came by and she was a volunteer. You know, those like cute little old lady volunteers that are so nice. And she said, wow, you've been waiting here a lot, eh? And I said, yeah. And she said, what's your name? I will go check. I said, Chantal. And she knows how to say my name because she's French Canadian. So she said, oh, Chantal, salut, okay. I will go check. I will come right back. So she came back and she said, they didn't forget you, but they're waiting for your ECG results to figure out where to put you. Because there's different areas of the emergency, okay? There's urgent care, which you have to follow the yellow dots for, which is like minor things. And then there's observation, and that's if they need to monitor you, you know, hook you up and monitor you and stuff. Follow the green dots. And then there's emergent care, follow the blue dots, which I don't even know what that means. So anyways, after a while, you know, I thought, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom. You know, they haven't called me. Sure enough, the minute I sit down on the toilet seat, they call my name. So I have to hurry up. And I go out, I'm like, yes, me. So the nice lady, she's like, follow me, I show you where you go. And so I was expecting to go to the yellow dots. Sure enough, I was expecting to go to the yellow dots. Well, to my surprise, I was asked to go to observation. So I was getting a little worried. You know, they're waiting for my ECG results. I have to go to observation. But they did blood work while I was waiting in the ER waiting room. Actually, they did blood work and hooked up an IV, you know, just in case they need to draw blood and give fluids. All right. So I get to my room in observation. There's less rooms in this area. It's more small, you know, and intensive. And there's like, I have to put on a gown that didn't fit. So I had the gown half on. And then I just made sure to keep the curtain closed. And my nurse comes in. She's like, hi, I don't know why you're here, but I'll find out. I was like, all right. So I had to retell my story. You always have to anyways. They want to hear what you have to say. Asking me symptoms, all this and that. She hooked me up. My oxygen sat was 97, which is fine. My blood pressure was 135 over, I don't even know. And they didn't seem concerned with that. And so They did take some blood from the. They just put the tube into the IV thing and take the blood that way. Very convenient. Instead of sticking you all the time, you know. So, my blood sugar started at 23 when I went in there. So I presented with the doctor came in. It was a resident doctor. She said, you have hyperglycemia. And she said, if you didn't come when you did, I suspect that it would have developed into like ketoacidosis because of the symptoms you had. Now, my blood test came back that my blood wasn't acidic, but she thought that it could develop potentially into that. And so I said, oh, well, that's nice. That's not scary at all. Basically, I'm learning that
This is like the second time you've gone to the doctor. Because you went to the doctor in Kuwait and they told you all kinds of things. Scary things. The scary things that would have scared the crap out of anybody else hearing them. Didn't they tell you that you had salt in your urine? Or is it protein in your urine? High blood sugar, all that stuff they told you. Did it scare you straight then? No. Because you came back to Canada and you couldn't wait to indulge. Chantal, I reacted to that video yesterday where you went to the Chinese buffet and you went out of your way to go to a park and you were at the park and you were all kinds of chill. But the moment you got to that Chinese buffet, you got excited. You got excited to the food. It was literally like watching somebody who has an addiction for something else, like a party favor. You're getting that euphoric mental rush of you're about to get your fix. Like you immediately brightened up and your mood changed. You were giddy. You were absolutely giddy to go eat at a Chinese buffet. It's so not normal. Like you're so overconsumed by food that like just the mere thought of getting your fix, just getting into a place where it's not just a little bit of food, it's a buffet with all kinds of food. Just it fills you with excitement. And you indulged. And then, unless this story is fake, that led to the ER. Or maybe it wasn't the Chinese buffet. Maybe it was that huge bag of snacks that you got from the dollar store that you didn't show us the contents of that bag. Maybe it was both. I don't know how long you're going to be in Canada. Maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month. Maybe Salah's coming over here. But every day that you spend in Canada alone, lonely, more than likely going to be indulging in all your temptations. If you have to go back to Kuwait, or should I say you don't have to go back, but if you do go back to Kuwait, you're going to be behaving like an addict who's about to go in a rehab. And I am definitely not making fun of anybody who's had addictions going into rehab. I'm just using this as an analogy, as a comparison. Sometimes when addicts go into rehab, before they go into rehab, they have sort of a inner panic moment of, I just need one more fix, right? Let me do it one more time. If Chantal goes back to Kuwait, like before she goes back, she's going to be vacuuming up all the temptations before she goes. Like this whole thing of her being in Canada so far has been one big, prolonged, drawn out fast food funeral. She's going back to Kuwait and she's not going to have the big Turks or some of her fast food. So she's going to vacuum it all up and taste it all again before she goes. Like that's the bee monster talking. That's the whisper in her ear. You need to get it now, because once we go back to Kuwait, we're not going to be able to have it. So do it now. Do it now. It's okay. That voice, that bee monster is going to justify it for her and say, like, it's justified. You couldn't get this stuff in Kuwait. You can get it here. We're only going to be here for a little while. So do it now. When you're not ready to change, when you're not ready to be on the side of recovery, then the other side of the fence is you're feeding the addiction, and you're going to keep feeding it until either you can't feed it anymore, or it because you're in the grave, or it just something stops you. Chantal is determined to feed that monster as much as possible.
Diabetes is really no joke. So I do feel like an ass just laughing and having a good time eating plates of Chinese food the other day. Yeah, I do. Anyway, pardon my language. She said we're gonna give you insulin and try to get your blood sugar down. We want it down below 15. So I said, all right. She said, have you been taking your metformin? I'm on something that's a different name than metformin. I said, no, because it makes me very ill and I haven't been taking it regularly. So
she went to the doctor in Kuwait. They gave her scripts for things like metformin, told her to take them, told her to correct her diet, eat healthy, all of that. And she's not taking it. She's not taking what they advised her to take, gave her a prescription to take. She said it made her sick. So the metformin makes you feel ill, but the fast food doesn't. You're over there going nuts with the sugar. You're getting blurred vision and dizziness and all that. That's making you sick too, Chantal, just in a different way. So if both make you sick, you got to weigh one evil against the other evil and decide which is worse. And I would think the food is worse. Yeah, the metformin make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but ultimately the food is going to unalive you if you let it. That bee monster is going to really consume you and then put you right next to a headstone. Just give it a thought. Like, which one you're going to choose?
Well, that's a no-no also. So she gave me my first dose of insulin and then took a blood test. About 20 minutes later, my blood sugar went down to 16.5. And then they did some blood work. I forget the name of the test. I'll have to put it here somewhere. Osmo something. That, because when you're diabetic, you urinate more frequent. But if you're not drinking, if you're dehydrated and not having enough fluid or something, it leaves like sediment in your blood. I don't know. So I was highly dehydrated from these blood tests. So they gave me some fluid and it wasn't on a pump. It was like a drip. So it was so slow. And I had to keep my arm a certain way or it would drip even slower. Anyway, I hate when they flush your line. You can taste the saline in your body. Ugh. Oh, well. Anyway, the staff was very nice. So I was, there for many hours at that point. And then they tested, my blood sugar. It was like 13 something. They gave me another dose of insulin. And then finally, by the end of everything, by the time I got home, I left with an insulin with a blood sugar reading of 11. It's a lot better than 23, but still high. I was starving. Like, I felt really dizzy and nauseous though. But I was still hungry. Like,
so she went to the ER with dangerously high blood sugar. She was treated. She was given 2 shots of insulin. They got her blood sugar down much lower. And now she's saying, oh, I was starving. Lord, we know what that means. We know what that leads to. I'm sure she didn't leave the ER and go get something healthy after nearly having a medical emergency because of her blood sugar. So she got her blood sugar down and then she probably chased it right back up.
I was starting to feel a bit better, but I was so tired and hungry. It was like 12 hours since I've eaten. So the lady said, we want to give you something to eat to see how you tolerate it. So she brings this sandwich that was like, the hospital food is horrendous. I'm sorry. And you know what doesn't make sense to me? I mean, I know it's not a 5-star hotel, but like they gave me a turkey sandwich on brown, but it was like stale brown bread with like 1 slice of turkey and butter on it. It was like gross.
It's a hospital, not a cafeteria. You're lucky they gave you something to eat.
But I ate some of it because that was the best sandwich when you're starving, okay? They gave me water, so I ate that in the water. But then they gave me apple juice, like full sugar apple juice, and a full sugar, not diet, low fat, gluten free. It was a whole sugar loaded muffin, apple cinnamon muffin, and I'm thinking, I'm in the hospital in observation.
So when they gave that stuff to you, why didn't you speak up and say, "Can I ask why I'm being given apple juice and sugar when I'm a diabetic and you guys just got through lowering my blood sugar? Is there a reason for this?" I'd be asking questions. If it pertains to my health and getting healthy, I'd want to know why. Maybe they were testing to see how your blood sugar normally is. Maybe they didn't know. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I would be asking questions. Why weren't you asking questions? Why did you drink the apple juice? Why did you eat the sugary fruit? Why didn't you stop and ask why this is happening?
For hyperglycemia, and you're giving me sugar, because if I would have eaten that and drank the apple juice with it, they would be giving me more insulin, I'm sure. It was just so weird. I was telling Salon, like, I'm here for hyperglycemia and they're giving me sugar. Anyway, so I didn't eat that. I said, I'm sorry. She's like, hey, you don't have to. She's like, I didn't cook it, so I'm not going to be insulted. About that. I said, no, it's just that, I'm just afraid to have something with sugar. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll just.
You're afraid to have something with sugar in front of people at the hospital, but you'll sit there on your YouTube channel and have everybody watch you eat candy bars and go to a Chinese buffet, and that's perfectly fine. So you won't eat anything sugary at the hospital in front of doctors and nurses. But on YouTube, it's perfectly okay. Is it because in the ER you couldn't turn on your camera and monetize the content and make money with it? But on YouTube, you can. On YouTube, you will expose all your B moments and all your bad eating to an entire audience of people that don't need to see it and don't need to know about it. That's okay though, right? Yeah, that's fine. As well as putting tags on your videos where you are attracting people to your channel, or trying to get all kinds of algorithms, trying to get into the algorithm of a section of YouTube that deals with diabetes, trying to get into another algorithm of people who have BED and that might be in recovery, trying to get into another section of YouTube where you're trying to appeal to the people with the food fetish. You're always trying to get into all different kinds of algorithms, at the same time not caring about your doggone health. And you want everybody from every section of YouTube to watch you destroy yourself. We don't want to watch it. It's not fun entertainment. It's not amusing. It's not positive viewing. We much not rather see that.
Just, I'll take it away. So that was that. They just told me to stay. They didn't prescribe me insulin. They told me to just stay on my metformin type of drug that I have from Kuwait, and to follow up with a family doctor, which I don't have. So that won't be happening.
Yeah, because it's an ER. They can't be there for you every single time you decide you want to go out and eat some fast food, and then you come in every single time afterwards and get insulin. You've got medications. That's what they are for. Supposed to have a family doctor. That's what they're for. Should take care of it that way.
So I thought that's where my night ends. She comes in, she says, do you want to go home? Because I think they were going to keep me. And I said, I really want to go home. I'm so tired. I don't have my CPAP. I'm just sweaty from just laying in the little cot. My bottom hurts so bad, my lower back. Oh, I want to go home. So she let me go home. Yeah, she let me go home. And I thought my night was over. So, she takes out my IV and everything. And I had to go to the parking garage. It's cold, it's dark, it's creepy. I'm on the top floor, the 5th floor of the parking garage. That's where my car's parked because there was nowhere to park. When I came in, the parking lot was almost full. So, I had to take an elevator. Parking garage elevators are one of the types of elevators I'm the most scared of. You guys know I have issues with elevators, claustrophobia. I got stuck in them before, so I have some trauma there.
Oh, please.
So I just started trusting elevators again, since where I live in Kuwait, we take an elevator, right? So
It's amazing how when she was in Kuwait, when she was with Salah, even when she wasn't with Salah, because I do remember a couple of videos where she went downstairs by herself. It's amazing how this fear of hers comes and goes, doesn't it? It does. Now she's trying to claim this, her fear of elevators is back again. And once again, Chantal, I say to you, if you don't like ERs, if you don't like anything connected to an ER or a hospital, elevator included, there's a solution. Take care of your health. You'll never have to go to the hospital again. As long as you keep messing around with your health, going to the buffets, going to the Starbucks, going to the Burger King, the McDonald's, going to the Dollarama to get your snacks, a whole bag of them, you're going to see the ER a lot. And there might be an occasion where you go into the ER and you never come back out. Or you might be stuck in a hospital room for weeks because you've done something to yourself that you can't just simply walk out with.
but I'm always with Salah. Anyway, so I go by myself. My phone is dead at this point because I didn't think I would be in the hospital for 12 hours, so I didn't plan right. All right, so the elevator comes, I press the button, and I can hear it like boom, 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 going through the levels to come in to get me. I get in, 5th floor, the doors close, everything's fine until I get to the 5th floor. I feel like a little drop, and I'm thinking, okay, it's just leveling out. The elevator has to level. Because as somebody who's afraid of elevators, I've watched many videos on how they work to help me like desensitize, to help me understand that, you know, I'm going to be okay. The doors don't open, and I'm thinking, okay, it's just going to take a while to level. Some elevators do that. Nope, doesn't open. I'm stuck in the elevator, okay? I got stuck in the parking lot elevator, and I'm like, I don't have my phone. What am I going to do? It's freezing. It's not a heated elevator because it's in a parking garage. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm in this cold steel metal box trapped. And
Well, I hate to be morbid, Chantal, but if this story to the ER is true or remotely true, because with you, we never can tell if you're lying, if you're making stuff up as you go. More than likely you are. So you were in an elevator. You were in a steel metal box. If you don't watch it, you'll be in another kind of box. And it won't be steel. It'll be made out of wood, 6 feet under the ground. And you'll never see the sun again. Just give that a thought. I don't know if that thought bothers you. I don't know if you think of things like that. But that's where you're headed. A box with no camera, no room, no blue couch, no salon, no nothing. If you want that, that's where you're going. If you don't want that, then you better fight with all of your might to stay away from it. You're a horrible, awful, deplorable human being. For the things you've done on YouTube, the things you've said, the people you've offended, the people that you've hurt on YouTube and off. And you're especially deplorable for the way you treated your pets. BBJ, Sam, Harry the hamster, and Julia the cat. Hurting yourself is one thing, hurting animals is quite a different thing. And you've got some karma coming for that. Best believe that. But as far as harm goes, as far as karma goes, I will let karma take care of itself. Seems like it's working already.
I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I start immediately panicking, like that fight or flight response that I'm like, oh my gosh, my worst fear. I'm thinking, but I had to like reason with myself, okay, my worst fear is happening. What am I going to do? You know, and I'm like, okay, just stay calm. I'm like, screw this. I took my hand. It was one of those doors that were split. They opened like this. So I just like pried, because I was on the 5th floor. I must have been, like, you know. So I pried the doors open with my hands, and it wasn't fully leveled. So I had to like kind of like step up a bit to get out. So I'm like, that's what happened. It wasn't leveling. So when the doors won't open if the elevator's not leveled for, you know, security features. Well, I pried those doors open, and they opened, and I got out anyways. Like, I'm never taking that elevator. I'm like, see ya. I actually verbally looked at the elevator and flipped it off. I'm not kidding. That was very cross of me, but whew, now I can't ever go back. It will remember that and trap me again. See how my dumb mind works. Anyway, so that's my story. That was very scary, and I never want to go through that again.
You know, something that I've been picking up during this whole video. So she said she's telling us a story. Isn't it interesting that she's not using the word experience? It's a story. Well, I'm a writer. I write short stories, poetry, things like that. One thing I know about stories is that more often than not, stories can be made up, complete fantasy. And we all know Chantal lies. So this is her story. So it's not an experience. It's just not simply her recounting all the things that happened. It's a story. We know all about your story time, Chantal. So what really happened at the ER?
I don't want to pass away from this. Diabetes is just really not something to mess with. And I think I've fully grasped that, having gone through what I've gone through. Every time I think there's a new low and I get a health problem, I think, okay, this is it. But
you know, Chantal, you're worried about the diabetes, and you should be. You should be worried about it. But there's so many other things on top of that. You're just naming the one thing, but what about everything else? What about the blood clots in your lungs that you're still supposed to be taking medication for, that you don't take medication for? What about the extreme fatty liver? The last time you spoke about it, it was 3 times the size of normal, and that was long ago. It might be bigger now. What about the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? What about the enlarged heart? Like, every single one of your organs is screwed, and any one of them could unalive you. And yet you've got all of that stuff going on at the same time. You're worried about one thing, and there's like 4 or 5 other things stacked on top of that. On top of your BED, which is out of control, insane, need inpatient for, need therapy for, which also you're not getting. You're so short-sighted. You're over there with bad vision. You're feeling dizzy, and none of this stuff is stopping you. None of that is a concern. You think all I have to do is just take some insulin, and I can go right back to the B moments. I can go right back to eating my favorite foods. I can go right back to everything. Girl, you can't. You're just not getting it. The person that you were when you left to go to Kuwait the first time is not the same person who came back. Back then, you gave your body a severe beating. But there was a little bit of health left where it could take it. But here we are. You're coming back from Kuwait. Your body can't take much more. You're just not getting it through that thick head. It's on the tipping point. It really is. One more apple and that apple cart will tip over. Care or not, that's just the situation.
I think this is definitely it. And I can't in good conscience continue to eat crappy food, especially on the channel, knowing that I've just revealed to you guys how it affects my health. So I'm going to be focused.
But you will. You will. And you'll find some justification for it. That's why more than half of the subs that used to watch you aren't there anymore. It's not that they turned into haters. It's just like all people in the world, everybody has a tolerance level, a limit. And once you hit that limit, you can go no further. A lot of people that were on your channel that aren't there anymore, they said, I can't deal with this. It's madness. I am not going to sit here and watch Chantal harm herself, hurt herself, unalive herself. This is morbid. It's sick. It's sad. It's disturbing. It's depressing. You don't understand as a content creator. Even after 5 or 6 freaking years on YouTube, you just don't get it. You think you're just making content, that it affects no one, it hurts no one, and it does. It absolutely does. People coming to watch you every day, and they see you getting worse and worse and worse and worse. It negatively affects them. It affects them maybe on an emotional level or a mental level. It's stressful. It makes people concerned and worried, people that care for you. And they just come to your channel every day and they feel nothing but negative. And they soak it all in like sponges. But then you get to a point where the saturation level is so high, you can't soak it anymore. And the only thing you can do is turn away from it. And getting angry over the fact that people are deciding they just can't deal anymore, that their circuits are blown. You say, oh, they're haters. No. It's not that they hate you. It's the fact that they have to think about their health, their mental health, their emotional health, their physical health. They hit their limit while you're over there testing all of your limits in the most negative way. And we're going to go over the comment section and you're going to see what the people have to say, but I'll finish this out first.
On health journey.
It's not a health journey though. You're not healthy.
And, just vlogs and being healthy. And, you could say, well, you're going to lose money. You're going to lose views. I don't care about that for one. But honestly, if you look at my videos, that's not true. My vlogs get more views than my mukbangs anyways. So.
Yeah, but you enjoy doing the mukbangs. You could do anything you want on your channel, whatever content you like, but how have you built your channel? What are you known for? Being a train wreck, the raging, the eating. You made it your business to attract anybody on YouTube that had the food fetish. You catered to them on camera and off, doing custom requests for them off camera. Remember you talking to us about the Lakma fairy? Yeah. Accepting requests from people off camera. They pay you and then you would do the request on camera. And in that way you were double dipping, making money, making their content, and putting it on YouTube. Doing requests during your live chats. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I see you, Chantal. So it takes one to know one, like I said. Now you're telling us, I'm not going to do the food content anymore. You're a liar. One person who's been there, you can't lie to them. I'm somebody who's been there with BED. You're someone who's still there. You can't lie to me. Can't deceive me. Just can't. You're a liar. And you're lying to yourself, thinking that you're on top of the monster. The monster's on top of you, has been on top of you for years. And you've got nothing to fight against it. No coping skills, no coping mechanisms, no willpower, nothing. You tell that little lie to yourself, so you think you're in control. At the same time, the bee monster inside of you is saying, go ahead and think that way. Go ahead. Because late at night, when there's nobody else there, and you're alone, I'll be in control. I'll take the control from you. I'll start whispering in your ear, whispering into your thoughts, and you'll listen to me. And you'll give in. And then the following day, I'll let you think you're in control. And then I'll take it back. And that's the cycle that you're on. That's the hamster wheel that you're on. The bee monster is that demon in your head that lies to you, controls you, lets you think you're in control, but you're not. That's why you need impatient. But you'll never get it, because impatient means it would have to be Chantal, not Foodie Beauty, not the persona that's getting the treatment. You've thrown everything that's you and everything you have into the persona, but not the person. You don't care about the person anymore. And the addiction doesn't care if it's the person or the persona, because if you let it go too far, in the end, both will be destroyed.
I just want to share. I just want to help. If I don't care about how many views it gets. Like, obviously views are nice, but if I can help somebody and help myself with this.
You are in no position to help anyone. You are in a position where you need help from other people. Don't try to come off as some savior to other people at the same time you're drowning. Don't worry about saving anybody but yourself right now, if you care. Don't try to come off as, I'm on YouTube to help others. No, you're here on YouTube to help yourself. Treating YouTube as your own personal monthly GoFundMe. Looking for other people to fund you and fund all of your addictions. And for the last 5 years, that's what it is and that's what it's been. You are an addict who's on YouTube looking for people to fund all of your bad habits and pay for them. And a lot of people do. And I'm sorry to be rude, y'all. I am not a rude person. But anybody who supports Foodie Beauty, maybe you're a channel member, maybe you're a sub. And I know that there's some of you on the channel for hers that you care about her, but understand that she doesn't care about herself. And the money that she gets from YouTube, you see what it's going for. You see what this is. And you got to know that it's only going to get worse. She's in Canada. She's surrounded by the temptations and not resisting a single one. So what do you think that's going to lead to? Just more frustrating, stressful content. And my question to anybody who's a sub of Chantal's, I got a question for you. How much are you willing to take? Like, how much can you take? For real? Like, how much of the stress, the concern, the worry, the flip-flopping, 1 minute she's on a health journey, the next minute she's eating a candy bar. Like, how much stress do you want to take? That's for you to decide.
Same time, it's a win-win. All right, so thanks for listening to my story. I've just been very busy, but I hope to go live and do more content for you guys. Yada yada yada. So I haven't been feeling the greatest. When you don't feel great.
Hold on. Wait. No. I'll do more content for you and yada yada yada. Ooh. Can you be more dismissive of the people in your audience? Do more content for you and yada yada yada. Like it's not that big of a deal. Like it's not that important. So I guess that's how she looks at all of you on her channel. Yada yada yada. Blah blah blah. That's how much you matter to Chantal.
Right, you can't really do much, So here's to hoping I get better.
With impatient, you won't.
All right, guys, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so why don't we go to the comments? I want to see what her subs have to say. What are their thoughts? Let's look. So Keith says, so you are fully aware of things that hospitals give you that aren't exactly diabetic friendly and refuse them. But when you want 2 plates of Chinese food and a Big Turk, you are unaware of how those affect diabetes? Come on, Chantal. You are playing with your life. It's not funny. No, it's not funny. It's not hilarious. It's not a joke. But she's treating it like a joke. She's treating death as a joke. Well, death is certain for all of us. It's just some people race for the finish line and some people Try to find ways for crossing it. And Chantal, she's running at full speed towards it. Fired Up says, how is the fact you continue to play ignorant still surprising? Unbelievable. She's not ignorant. She just doesn't care. The addiction is in full control. Understand that. It's controlling her. She thinks she's in control, but obviously she's not. What did she have to control the addiction with? Nothing. She doesn't even try to stay away from it. Fixin says, I don't understand you, Chantal. Are you deliberately sabotaging yourself, creating avoidable medical emergencies for content and views? Yes. This self-destructive behavior has only one outcome. Yeah. Well, she needs content. She needs views. And she's going to get views and content one way or the other. Even if it means hurting herself, obviously. Sansa Cooks. Hi, Sansa. Sansa says, the reason they gave you the muffin and juice was because they know you're eating worse than the turkey sandwich in real life. They wanted to see how regular food affects you, and you missed the opportunity to find out while in the perfect place for it. Start testing and logging your readings, and try what the Kuwait doctors told you. There you go, Chantal. You wanted to know why they gave you that stuff? Sansa just told you. Makes sense. But how different foods and liquids affect the blood sugar. Happy Place says, eye doctors can see diabetic damage. I have a feeling they sent you immediately to the ER when they saw what was going on, more than likely. If her pupils were dilated, though, she shouldn't have been driving. That was just reckless and dumb on her part. She's got the money. She could have taken an Uber back and forth. Awesome Amy says, as a diabetic, you should never operate a vehicle when feeling dizzy, lightheaded, or have vision problems. You could pass out or worse while doing so. You should have told the receptionist at the eye doctor to call an ambulance. Driving it yourself is a very dangerous thing to do. Please call an ambulance regardless of where you are. You're lucky you made it there safely and didn't hurt others on the way. Well, one thing I know about calling an ambulance, that can be rather expensive. And maybe Chantal was thinking, oh, calling an ambulance would mean I got to pay extra money out of pocket that I don't have. Regardless of that, at the very least, you could have taken an Uber and kept everybody safe. Turkish Coffee says, you stopped taking your meds? Are you crazy? Stopping and starting meds is why the side effects never go away. You don't give yourself a chance. Like you start stopping therapy. You keep self-sabotaging. Why, Chantal? You need to take this seriously. Well, listen, she's not going to take it seriously. And here's the scary thing, and I'm just speaking from the heart here. In my opinion, even if Chantal had a medical emergency, like a small stroke, something serious like that would scare the rest of us, I don't think it would be enough for her. I think it might scare her for a very short period of time, but then she'd go right back to what she was doing. As a matter of fact, her going through that, it might reinforce the feeling and the thought of that she's unbreakable. Like, oh, I survived this. Is this as bad as it's going to get? Like nothing is going to stop her. Nothing except death. Or if she's in a hospital and she cannot get to the food, then that might stop her. Like, she has diabetes. If Chantal lost a leg or an arm or a finger or a toe, again, where most of us would say, okay, this is enough. This is really bad. I mean, I really got to watch myself. My body's fighting back. Chantal would simply just parlay that into content, in my opinion. She would come on YouTube and turn that into content for days, weeks, and try to get sympathy and super chats out of people. It would not be enough to stop her or wake her up. Says 23 is really high. I'm a type 2, and with the meds I take, it is controlled, and at around 6, which is normal. Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe her blood sugar is used to being high, and that's her baseline. I don't know. I don't have diabetes, but her walking around with 300, 400 blood sugar is insane. Doriel says, yes, diabetes is serious. That is what the haters have been saying. Haters, lovers, everybody. It doesn't have to be from the reaction community. A doctor that doesn't know about Foodie Beauty would say the same thing to her. So it's not just a hater thing. It's a, hey, we know more than you do kind of thing. Let's see. Gorlash says, I called this on the Chinese buffet video. I said, that is scary to watch you eating like that with uncontrolled sugars, that you'd feel like garbage and that you'd have vision problems and end up in the hospital and that you need insulin. Well, considering how she said this was her story, Gorlash, there is a slight chance that you leaving your comment led to her making this video. Hey, she's always looking for content ideas. She might have taken your comment and said, I'm just going to do a video based on this person's comment. Just act like this happened because we don't know if it did for real. Let's see. Uh-oh. Now, this person's comment right here, this is serious. Julie says, hi, my name is Julie, and I was just like you. I was diagnosed type 2 diabetes. I didn't listen to the doctors. I carried on eating everything I wanted, but now I'm paying for it. I've lost sight in one eye. I'm sorry, Julie. I have no feeling in my feet, and my kidneys are in bad shape. Please do something now before you get to where I am, though it was invincible. But you're not. Good luck in your journey, Julie. Well, I'm sorry those things happened to you, Julie, and I know that you're coming forward and telling Chantal about this as a warning, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think she's too far gone. Like, and the fact that she's got a YouTube channel, like, just she's so hyper focused on YouTube that she thinks everything is content. She's so focused on the life online that she ignores the life offline. Like, that's just not real to her. The life online is more real. And she's always wanted to live on that stage rather than get off of it and take care of herself. Let's see. Brooke says, if this isn't the sign to stay in Canada for a while, what will be? Oh, Foodie replied. Let's see what she says. She says, yeah, exactly. There are temptations in every country. Yeah, but some of them in Kuwait you could not get to. You couldn't get to your beloved gummies, amongst other things. You know, kind of like the gummies that Natter is suddenly popping up with. Natter would be on the list of temptations as well. Just a lot of people in the comments expressing concern, and people are just disgusted with the fact that she went to the buffet. Everybody telling her to take her medication. Zaza says, diabetes is no joke. No crap, Sherlock. People lose their limbs and eyesight over this. You're almost 40 and you don't know that? Or do you think you're somehow immune to all of it? Yeah, I think she thinks she's invincible, and she's obviously not. If she were invincible, her body would not be breaking down and rotting from the inside out. So, like, if you wanted a sign that you're not, that you are not invincible, Chantal, your body is letting you know. You just got to, unplug your ears and listen. People say they're praying for her, giving her advice about her diet. Let's see. So that's it for the comments. Like, just her subs are, like, some people are giving her support, saying they're praying for her, they're concerned for her, giving her advice. Other people are saying, well, what did you expect to happen? You're doing things to yourself, and then when things happen, then you come back and you're like all sad about it. What do you think was going to happen? All right, that's it for this react. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you so much for being with me tonight, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, please take care. Bye.